now. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, fifth graders. I'm Mr. Ham. I am the supervisor for arts education. I'm also, since he's here this meeting, Mr. Edwards, one of the assistant principals for the middle school is here. He's going to be the sixth grade next AP next year. So we're here to give you everybody an overview about our ensemble programs. That is either the band program or the chorus program. Whether or not you are currently in the band or chorus at GNR or PLD, that's okay. These programs are open to everybody. So I am going to now turn this over to our fabulous crew from the middle school. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Stevens, Mrs. McGill, Ms. Bocuddy, and Mr. Temple. And they are going to take us through the presentation and give everybody an overview. Just to give you all a heads up, we will be sending more information out directly to parents after spring break. So the actual sign up information will be coming out after spring break. So just tell your moms and dads to keep their eye on that. All right, Mrs. McGill, I think turning the floor over to you.
All right, good morning, everyone. As Mr. Ham said, today we'll be telling you information about our band and choir programs here at the middle school. We're really excited to give you this information and encourage you to participate next year. Here at Kreps, we have a lot of fun up here, and we look forward to having you join our programs. So to start, we're just going to tell you a little bit about ourselves. This is going to be for the instrumental music side, and then Mr. Stevens will talk a little bit later on about the choir. So I'll go first since I'm in the middle. I am Mrs. McGill. I teach brass here at Kreps. Next year will be my 4th year here. I started playing trumpet when I was in the 4th grade, and then when I got to high school, I switched to French horn. So you can certainly move around to different instruments as you progress through the program. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Bocuddy, who will introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Bocuddy. I've been at Kreps for a while now. I actually lost count of the years. So I will be teaching the woodwinds and 8th grade band, and saxophone's my primary instrument. I actually got started late. I got started near end of 8th grade going into high school. And then I actually played French horn for high school and then went back to saxophone in college. So it was all over the map, but I would be teaching all the woodwinds, so the flutes, the clarinets, and the saxes.
Hi, I'm Mr. Temple. I'm the percussion teacher here at Kreps. This is my first year here at Kreps, and I am the 6th grade band teacher. I teach all of the percussion students, and then this year I was able to teach some saxophones and clarinets as well. I started playing my instrument in 7th grade, so I had a later start than most of you guys. But I absolutely loved it. I loved my middle school band director. He's a phenomenal teacher. And then he ended up teaching me in high school. And then throughout high school, I just always knew I wanted to be a music teacher. It's like something I want music in my life all the time. And not only because it teaches you, cool stuff to listen to, but it also helped me be a better person. It taught me awesome work ethic skills, good study skills, and just how to just live a better life overall. So yeah, I'm super looking forward to working with all of you guys.
So what's exciting is we will work with you on your specific instrument. So if you play brass, you'll work with me, woodwinds, Miss Bocuddy, and percussion, Mr. Temple. But you'll also have the opportunity to work with each of us in your full ensemble experience. So we all work together. You'll be seeing our faces a lot. So when do ensembles meet? By ensembles, I mean our core classes, our choir classes, and our band classes. And at the middle school, these classes meet during the school day as a class. So there's 3 opportunities that you will take part in. We have full ensemble, which is all of us together, like a full band or a full choir. And then we have small ensembles, which might be all of the brass players or all of the woodwind players or a percussion ensemble. And then we do small group lessons. So you can see the picture on the right-hand side there on the bottom. That's Mr. Temple this year working with some of our clarinet players, our 6th graders. So that is a small group lesson of just clarinet players where he will help, he's helping out this year with some of the woodwinds, but giving you really individualized attention on your instrument. The top picture, that's from one of my brass groups. We're learning about how to take a good breath and use our air. And then we have opportunities where we'll perform in those small ensembles. So we might do all of the woodwind players will perform a piece together, or all of the percussionists will do a piece together. So at the middle school, you have some different opportunities, but these happen during the school day. We're going to move on to talking about some performance opportunities and trips that have happened in the past outside of school. And I just want to let you know in advance that what we're going to talk about, these are things that we've done in the past, but it's not necessarily saying we will be doing this every single year. These can change. So think of these as suggestions or kind of broad opportunities that can happen. So Mr. Temple is going to talk to you about 6th grade.
So again, this is, my first year here. So I actually was never with the 6th grade when they went to NJPAC, but NJPAC is a performing arts center in the state of New Jersey, and you get to watch professional groups there. Now, really quickly, again, as Mrs. McGill just said, it's just a suggestion. However, when I was in high school, we would go to the Kimmel Center. The Kimmel Center is where the Philadelphia Orchestra rehearses. So I would assume it'd be just something just like that, where you either watch a professional group rehearse or you actually watch one of their shows that's finalized and completed that they put out to the public. And not only is this like a really cool experience to just go in and listen to people like that are way better than all of us, right? Because they're getting paid to do it. That is their career. It's really exciting, but it also shows you what you're capable of, right? And what the end goal is. And maybe if that's what one of your end goals wants to be, what you can end up becoming if you ever wanted to become a professional musician. But in end all be all, it's still really a cool experience.
Then as you progress to 7th grade, we open up our opportunities a little bit and our performance in the community. In the past, the 7th grade band and choir has gone to New York City. We've seen Broadway performances. So one year we saw King Kong, other years there's been Wicked. Depends on what's showing at the time. We also had an opportunity a few years ago to meet a Broadway musician. In the spring, the 7th grade band combines with the 8th grade band, and we've performed at a Trenton Thunder baseball game. I know many of you are probably familiar with going to Trenton Thunder games. And what's great about this is we get to perform on the field before the game starts. And we perform the Star Spangled Banner and then a couple other selections. And then we get to stay and we watch the game. So it's a great opportunity for all of Mercer County and beyond to hear us, and for all of us to get together and watch a baseball game and kind of hang out outside of the school. And then we also, later on in the spring, for those of you who have gone to the Hightstown Memorial Day Parade, we perform with the 8th grade. You can see the bottom right picture, this one over here. That is our combined Kreps marching band. And we perform at the Memorial Day Parade. We usually perform a couple spots back from the high school marching band. And it's a lot of fun. Again, a great way to get out into the community. We practice a couple times in the spring, and then we get to kind of showcase our talents. Ms. Bocutti is going to talk to you about some opportunities the 8th grade has to perform beyond Mercer County and beyond East Windsor here as well.
So I know you guys see the first thing listed is Hershey, and I'm sure you've probably heard it before. This is a trip we've done in the past. You probably heard it, especially if you had, like an older sibling, maybe that's been in the program. So that trip in the past that we've done is we go to the park, but one of the other big things that we do is it's called an adjudicated performance. So we play one or two pieces of the music that we've learned that, maybe we do for our spring concert, and we play in front of a few judges. And these judges are either their college professors or their other well-established music teachers, and they give a critique of our performance. And they also give a score of our performance as well. And based on how we do, we can get awards like trophies and things like that. So that's always a really good morale boost, and it's super fun, and it's great to have that, shared experience together. And this is something that we do we have done combined with the choir as well. So the choir gets to do the same type of thing with, maybe the Broadway, they've done that together, and the Hershey trip they've done together. And then just like Ms. McGill said, 7th and 8th grade have done the Trenton Thunder and the Memorial Day parades.
At the middle school, we have additional instruments that you can begin playing. And before we go into talking about the woodwind, brass, and percussion instruments, we want to emphasize that we have instruments available for you to use. So we don't expect if you're interested in, say, switching to the oboe, we don't expect you to go out and buy an oboe. We have instruments here for you. We don't want a lack of instrument to be a reason that you consider not participating in the program. So we will help you with anything that we can. to get you playing and to get you continuing in the middle school. So keep that in mind as we talk about these instruments that you may not have heard before. Ms. Bocutti, why don't you take it away with woodwinds?
Yeah, so actually in general, one of the things that we like to do in middle school is we try to diversify our instrumentation so we have this bigger, more well balanced band. So right now, at least for woodwinds, most of you, if you're a woodwind player, you're playing either the flute, the clarinet, or the alto saxophone. In middle school, we like to branch out a little bit and do some changes. So if you see, there's alto sax, tenor sax, and bari sax. Tenor sax is a little bit bigger than an alto sax, a little bit deeper sounding. It looks like this, right? It's super fun. And then the bari sax, which is, I think, my personal favorite. It's a really, really, really big instrument. It's super loud and kind of super awesome. So if you're a loud personality, that might be a good fit for you. For clarinets, we've had people switch down to bass clarinet, which is a bigger clarinet. Also very fun to play. And I know I've mentioned oboe before. This is an oboe. Kind of looks like a clarinet, but it's a little bit of a different sound. Here's the reed for it. It's very teeny, teeny, tiny. It's called a double reed. And we're looking for some oboe players as well. There's also another double reed instrument. It's called a bassoon. And I think, Mr. Bercuda, you were talking before.
I can. I happen to have been able to wrangle a bassoon before the pandemic hit. So when you look at it, it is a double reed, just like the oboe. It is just considerably larger. It is kind of like your tuba of the woodwinds in a way. All right. Thanks, Mrs. Bocutti.
Yeah. And I think Miss McGill will lead off the brass.
All right, so Mr. Bercuda mentioned that bassoon is like the tuba of the woodwinds. So I'll talk about the actual tuba, which is one of my favorite instruments. And I put a little star next to it because I am always looking for students interested in trying tuba. I always try and find like the goofy, really brave students who are willing to be kind of nutty with me playing tuba. Tuba is big and it plays your low instruments. It's like the foundation of the whole band. Without the tuba player kind of laying down the bass line there, the rest of the band, can struggle a little bit. So we want, at the middle school, we want to add tuba players. We want to add French horn players, baritone players. Most of you right now are probably more familiar with trumpet, maybe trombone. So French horn, that's what I play. That's my primary instrument. The range for French horn can go as high as the trumpet and as low as the tuba. It's kind of like the jack of all trades instrument. It can do a little bit of everything. Trumpet, you're familiar with. Trombone, always need more trombone players. I'll never say no to trombone players or tuba players. So if you're interested in switching to French horn or to tuba or baritone, I mentioned this in our last session. Some of the best tuba and French horn players I've had have been like flute players or clarinet players or percussionists, who just want to try something new. And that goes for percussion or woodwinds as well. If there's something that you see and it just sounds like the most exciting thing for you and you want to give it a shot, talk to us. We don't, if you played brass this year, it doesn't mean that, we're going to make you have to stay on brass for next year. Mr. Temple, why don't you give us an overview of percussion?
Absolutely. So when you play percussion instruments, you're probably familiar with the big three, which is snare drum, bass drum, and mallets. So if you are a keyboard percussion player, you would specifically play a mallet instrument. And if you're more of a battery percussion player, meaning like, more towards like a drum set style, not style, but like those relative instruments, you're more probably familiar with snare drum and bass drum. As a percussionist in middle school, and kind of what I did as a percussionist in middle school and going through it, is you play all of them, right? So I really like to get you exposed to as many different percussion instruments as possible. Now, one really common question that we had last meeting when we met with the other half of the school was, well, I really only am interested in battery percussion instruments, or I'm really only interested in keyboard percussion instruments. Now, I totally get it. Right? It's really uncomfortable, especially jumping into something that we don't know. And I will never force you if it's going to make you that miserable and that upset. I want this experience to be as fun and as rewarding as possible. Will I ask you to do something? Absolutely, right? It's an opportunity. And that's how I want you to look at this, right? I'm never going to say, you got to get back behind that keyboard and you got to do this. It's not like that. All right. And just like Mrs. McGill said, if you see something that piques your interest, I got ahead of myself. Let's say you're playing clarinet and you really want to play snare drum, or you really just want to go back there, even if it's for 1 or 2 songs, right? We all work together here and we're one big pipeline community. We're going right up. We hope that you stay all the way through to the high school and you fulfill your, musical experience in the school district. But if it's ever intimidating, say like, I don't know, like it seems cool, but I'm scared. We're all here to meet you where you're at and help you get from point A to point B. We will never say, hey, you're not good enough, because you're always good enough, but it always comes from in here, right? We got to put in that hard work first and then it happens, right? But you're capable of playing all these instruments. It's basically where your interest is at and where it peaks at. Okay.
Awesome. So what to expect in your music, we'll go through this briefly, and then I'm going to have Ms. Bocutti talk about jazz band, and then we'll get Mr. Stevens on here. So each year, 6th grade to 7th grade to 8th grade, you're going to learn more techniques, new rhythms, new notes, and your music will change in styles and genres. So as you can tell probably already, hopefully from our personalities, we like to have fun at the middle school. All right, we like to do things, a little crazy. Get you outside your comfort zone a little bit, having you learn new music, trying to get you on new instruments, things like that. But it's a combination of having a lot of fun and putting hard work in to get us to the point where in 8th grade, you're playing that high school level music and you look back at the music you played in 6th grade or 5th grade and you're like, I can't believe, I've come this far, in 3 years' time. So every year you'll do something a little bit different, a little bit more challenging. And then when you get to 8th grade, another opportunity that opens up is jazz band, which Ms. Bocutti will talk to you about.
Yeah, I'll go real quickly with it just because, we want to give some time for Mr. Stevens, but this is just something to think about in the future. Jazz band ends up being, it's an 8th grade elective. It's kind of an auditioned group and it happens during the school day. And it's really fun. We play jazz music, so we play swing music and sometimes rock, and it ends up being one of my personal favorite classes because it always ends up being such a great group of people who just want to come play some music and have fun. So I just want to show you a quick clip of what the jazz band did in the fall this year. Something to look forward to. All right, and then we will have Mr. Stevens talk about choir.
What's up, my people? I'm Mr. Stevens. I'm the only choir teacher at Kreps. So if you stay in choir, you get to have me all 3 years. Lucky you. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say is going to be kind of a repeat of what the band is saying because our programs are pretty much aligned. You're just not playing a physical instrument. You're using your voice. So we have our grade level choir, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade that meet during the day. You have the lessons that are going to be during the day as well, all the same stuff as the band. Then we have the 8th grade a cappella choir, which is kind of like jazz band. It's our audition group. We have a lot of fun. The a cappella choir only does pop music. So we've done songs like Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. We've done Old Town Road, Lil Nas X. We've done a lot of different pop songs. And that usually is a smaller group of like 15 to 20 kids. We have a lot of fun and we get a lot of work done. The third group is MHK Singers, which is my after school group. And you can be band or choir. You could, if you decide not to do either, you can still come out. It's for literally anybody who wants to be a part of it. You come out and it's like 1 day a week. We have some fun. And then the last little bit there is our school musical. That is also open to anybody. You can come out. We have a good time. And hopefully you might have seen some of the past stuff. And we have our new musical review coming out in a couple weeks that hopefully you'll be able to see. And then there at the bottom, we have the same trip. So we do Hershey Park with the 8th grade band. We do the Broadway trip, all the same stuff. The only addition is the 8th grade choir. We go to Rutgers University for a day and we get to hear a bunch of other choirs from across New Jersey, also middle school, sing some music, and we get to sing for them. And then if it's a nice day, we sit outside and eat and you get to chat with the other choirs and it's a really good time. Next slide, please. So a lot of the music that we do in choir is not always going to be in English because in the world and in our school, we have people who speak more than just English. So we definitely will do English pieces, but on the right-hand side, I put like a bunch of other languages that we've done, and you'll see we have Spanish, Portuguese, Latin, French, a whole bunch of different languages that we have done in the past. And I'm always looking for new music to do in the future that is not in English. So on the left-hand side are a couple different pieces that we've done that the kids really loved and enjoyed. Let's do top right. Yeah, cool. So if you want to get a closer peek at what it's like to have me as a teacher and what it's like to be in the classroom, you can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. I've posted a lot of like recordings of the choir's performances in the past, and you just get to see like how we are when we're in person and hanging out.
Awesome. Thanks, Mr. Stevens.
Yeah.
So before we open it up to questions, we're just going to go back. This is going to happen. Let's see if I can make it skip. There we go. A little bit faster than last time. So for band, we're just going to do the same thing quick, like 15 seconds of some examples. I'm going to start out with the piece on the bottom right, which is Arabian Dances. The 8th grade band did this, and they won first place at Hershey a couple years ago for it. Really fun piece. And then you can compare that to maybe some of the music that you've been playing this year, or things that you've been learning, and can see how you'll progress. You heard a lot of percussion, you heard a lot of tuba, you heard a lot of woodwinds there carrying the main melody. And then this is a piece called Alarm by composer Randall Standridge that is something perhaps 6th grade would look at. So again, really diverse music that we do, music from different cultures, music from different backgrounds, and that goes for both band and choir. So you'll have a lot of really great experiences here to learn about music. I know we're going to open it up for questions real quick. With your questions, we're going to try and keep the questions focused right on the information that we gave you, so about band or choir. So if you guys can, I know you probably have a ton of questions about 1,000 different things, but try and keep your questions to band, choir specific stuff about the middle school, and we'll do everything that we can to answer some questions. We'll also save the chat, and we'll put together a question and answer list later on and share it out with you. So if your question doesn't get answered, we promise that we'll give you an answer. It just might not come directly during this session.
Thanks, Mrs. McGill. So yeah, I'm going to open up the chat, and just to reiterate, we are hoping that all of you will find a place in in either of our ensemble programs or both of our ensemble programs. We're working some things out, but we really want to, we want to provide a great opportunity for all of our kids and all of our students to participate in the ensembles and have a, it's a great experience, and it's a great experience. It's we all 5 of us on, been speaking, we all loved our experiences as a kid and as a teacher, and they're great opportunities. So we really want to encourage everybody. And again, just to reiterate, if you did not play as a 4th or 5th grader, that's okay. Or if you did not sing as a 4th, 5th grader or in elementary school, no problem. You are welcome to join when you come into middle school. We will be sending out the sign-up information to parents after. We're going to send out to your parents. We're going to be doing that after break. Okay, so we can let's see if we can answer some of those questions.
All right, so we're just going to start kind of going down. How many French horns are there? As many as we want to have. 50 would be awesome. No, I'm just joking. If we had, we usually look like 4 or 5 would be excellent. Do we have banjos? No, we do not right now. If you play the banjo, let us know though. We'll find a spot for anyone. Can you join band in middle school? Absolutely. We've had beginners before. We've had students who have never played an instrument and they've performed. Do you guys do violin? We haven't right now, but it's coming. So keep that in mind.
Are there any
band
electric
chorus-
instruments? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Electric instruments. In jazz band, yes. Guitar players and bass players.
Will band and chorus be at the same time? So we're working on that. In the past, students have had to be in either band or chorus, but as Mr. Stevens said, there's MHK singers, which is after school. There's always instrumental music students who do that. How long does it take to choose a different instrument if you don't like yours? We'll work with you. We want you to participate. So if right now you're playing, the trumpet and you're just like, I'm not into this, but if I played flute, it would be the greatest thing in the world. We'll help you with it. It takes time to learn an instrument, dedication, but we'll get you there.
You have to rent or buy instruments. I mean, if you've rented before and you're able to, absolutely. But like Ms. McGill said in the very beginning, we don't want you to, lose out on an opportunity if, you're unable to rent something. So we'll work with you to get what you need.
Yeah, I'm going to reiterate that as well. We will work with families if you're not able to rent or purchase an instrument. It's not required to purchase. If we'll work with you to get the instrument. We don't want to let that stop you from joining our programs.
I hear about guitars and stuff, piano. There actually are other 8th grade electives that you'll be able to choose. Guitar and piano are some of them options later on.
I saw a great question from Parker. Parker said, I want to join, but I do not know what to do. So the information about how to join is going to come out shortly. It's going to go to your instrumental music teacher. It'll be sent home to you. You'll get plenty of information about that, I promise. So we will help you out. Let's see. A lot of people, again, can you do both band and chorus? Right now, look for MHK singers, which is after school. Will there be makeup lessons? Yes, we do allow makeup lessons in case for any reason you can't come to your lesson. Let's see. Ms. Bocutti, if you see anything too, feel free to jump in. Mr. Stevens, anything?
Some of the same.
I'm going to do I play the trumpet right now. This is Ian's. I play the trumpet right now, but can I still do the trumpet? Yes. We threw a ton of information at you about all these new instruments. If you are enjoying what you're doing, stick with it. If you love singing, stick with singing. If you love playing percussion, stick with percussion. But we're just saying that we also have other opportunities for you as well.
I had a question that was directly to me, Mr. Stevens. It says, can we sing Japanese? That's for you.
Yes, I just have to find a piece. But yeah, I'm always looking for new pieces in every language possible.
Can we play 2 instruments? I've had plenty of people who have that, especially some of my jazz band people learn saxophone maybe for jazz band, but maybe plays clarinet in regular band or something else. Absolutely.
Mr. Temple, this is a question from Izzy. What are mallets?
Yeah, I'm answering all of them as they come into
Awesome.
the text. Yeah.
Beautiful. Want to make sure we get that going. How many instruments can we play? Same thing. So we've had students before who have played piano, trumpet, and they've done the musical and they've sang in the musical. There's a lot of options for that there. Do you have to join band? So you don't have to do anything. However, we really encourage you to stick with what you're doing. But you can, you're flexible, but you're not forced to do something.
Can you switch an instrument? Yes, you can. We always work with you to see what the right choice is to make sure it is the right pick. But yes.
Let's see. What days do you practice? So it'll be during school. It's part of your schedule, your class schedule. So you will have one day, you might have one elective and then you'll go to band the next day. So the middle school schedule is a little bit different, but it'll be a class that means during the school day there. Yep.
So can we try out some instruments before we pick them? We always want you to try them before picking them. We want to make sure it's a good fit for sure.
So just real quick for everyone, as we're starting to come to the end of our time, we'll still get a few more questions in the chat. Just to remind everybody, we did record the presentation. We will put this out to parents as well as my daughter in the background. But we're also going to put the slide deck out to to the parents as well too. Some of the questions coming in about information and do we have to ask for parents? So your parents will have to sign you up, but it will be going out directly to parents. But there's nothing to stop you guys as from reminding your parents and saying, hey, mom, dad, don't forget to sign me up for chorus, band course, whatever the case may be, or both. You know, all that information will be coming out right after spring break. Okay. Any final thoughts, teachers?
No, just thank you for joining us. Again, if you have any questions that we didn't answer, we'll try and get those out to you. We'll put together, you know, a list, but reach out to us if you have any questions or, you know, you want more information, you know, reach out to one of us and we'll direct you to the best person, whether it's, you know, Mr. Stevens for choir or one of us for band. You know, we'll make sure that we get your questions answered, but we really appreciate your time and your enthusiasm, and we look forward to working with you guys next year.
All right, thanks everybody. You can start signing out and we'll see you next year. Thanks.